Hey, it's Lee from On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with an Impact Wrestling review. I've got my notes here, tons of notes. I've been trying to be better about the notes, yet they get longer and longer. Um, about Impact Wrestling, it airs on Mondays. I don't get to see it on Mondays. I have too many things on my PVR, so I actually have to record the Thursday episode, or the Thursday airing, I should say. It's the same episode. Um, I only started watching Impact maybe 4 months ago. Bound for Glory was announced for Ottawa, and because of that, I said, you know what, I better watch a little bit of Impact. So I'm caught up because I wanted to go see it live. I did go see it live. I I very much enjoyed Bound for Glory. The crowd energy was great and whatnot. Later on, the crowds were a little bit smaller during TV tapings, so it wasn't quite as fun. But it was still a good time. Got to introduce people to wrestling. It was pretty good stuff. A fun show, inexpensive, really cheap to go. So overall, pretty good stuff. So let's get into Impact. Now, Impact has gone through a little transformation recently. The voice of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Don Callis, is actually one of the bookers, I believe, and I believe the other person is Scott D'Amore. By all accounts, and I kind of agree with what I've seen, the show's a little bit tighter. Storylines are a little bit better right now. Just there's less kind of stupidity. So it's working, and I actually like this episode quite a bit. So I'll start with my notes. So it opened with a video package of the Austin Aries versus Johnny Impact match, which is set for that night. It was very well done. I won't say it's necessarily WWE quality, but it's very good quality. I just made a general note that Sandre Dutt is a really likable color commentator. He reminds me a lot of when Daniel Bryan did the color commentating on the Cruiserweight Classic. Just a nice guy who gets super enthusiastic about certain things and sometimes makes dumb jokes. I find he's really good as a color commentator. I thought I would really miss Jeremy Borash because I can tell you from even being in a live audience, Jeremy Borash is very, very good at what he does. Even just getting the crowd ready for the live shows and things like that. But Sandre Dutt as a pure color commentator, very, very good. Not going to complain about him. I listened to him anytime. So there's another video package to prep for the first match of the night, which is LAX versus Cult of Lee, which is Caleb Conley and why can't I think of his name? His last name is Lee. Whatever, you guys, Trevor Lee. Why did I lose that? The match starts out outside of the ring, so there's kind of a big attack outside of the ring. Tons of stuff going on outside of the ring. At one point, Lee is being whipped into stairs, and you know how they normally will fall on their knees on their own and bang their head into the stairs. Well, he I guess gets tripped up by the guy who's flinging him into the stairs, and he actually hits the stairs head first, which looked kind of a little bit like he still protected himself, but it looked a little bit more gruesome. Lots of really good tandem moves in this. At one point, LAX, the guy jumped on over his partner and did this kind of flip onto, I forget who it was, if it was Lee or the other one. Really good. Santana really impressed me with his athletic ability. And then I did see a really cool move, which was Ortiz, which is one of the LAX members, did this thing where he did a vertical suplex and then kind of turned the guy around and hit him with a stunner. And it looked really cool. And what else did I write here? Just that LAX one. That's all I had at the end. So apparently I think last week or a couple weeks back, Cult of Lee, which is what I'll call him for now, they actually beat LAX in a non-title match. They basically recreated that ending, but LAX fought out of it and ended up winning. So we cut to the back. There's an interview with Bobby Lashley. He cuts a really good, angry, good guy promo on OVE. It was perfect. He didn't need to do any more. It was maybe like 30 seconds. Then Matt Sydal is sitting on maybe a trash bin or something. I don't even know what he's sitting on. And they cut to him, and he just cuts this kind of out there religious promo talking about his third eye and all this stuff. I feel like he's going so far in that direction that they're going to go heel with him, and that's fine too. Seidel is this guy. He's very skillful in the ring. He doesn't seem like a bad promo, but when I saw him live and when I see him on TV, he gets no kind of crowd reaction. It's very strange. So he has a match against Taiji Ishimori, who is the X Division champion. Seidel is currently the what's it called? The Grand Champion, which used to be like a judged round thing, but now it's just basically their Intercontinental title. So it's champion versus champion, and whoever wins will be a double champion. The match is lots of high spots, lots of big stuff. Ishimori eventually hits a knee, basically jumps off the top rope and does essentially like a code breaker type thing, but with only one knee. But he kind of pretends it's wrestling. He hurts his knee, and then Seidel attacks the knee, but then about halfway through the match, they kind of just ignored the knee, which is a little annoying, because Ishimori does like some backflips off of it and stuff like that. It's just big move after big move after big move, and for some reason the crowd's not that into it. Maybe it's the same thing I just mentioned earlier. Now Seidel has a shooting star press that is his finisher. It used to be he calls it airborne now, based on Evan Bourne, I'm sure. Ishimori has a 450 finisher. So Seidel tries to do his finisher, misses. Ishimori tries to do his finisher. Seidel gets the knees up, and then Seidel hits his finisher and becomes the double champion, so the X Division and Grand Champion. Then they do a video package for the next big match. So they're prepping all the matches with video packages. And this one is Ali versus Laurel Van Ness for the Women's Championship, or Knockouts Championship, I should say. It's a good video package again, so it's kind of consistent, except there's a sound issue with Laurel Van Ness's interview. I could barely hear her. So I don't know what happened there, especially since this is pre-taped. They should have been able to fix it. Like the tag match, it starts on the outside. Ali basically attacks Laurel, but Laurel is able to defend herself. It's kind of a reverse of what you would expect, but that's fine. Eventually the match goes inside, comes back out. I guess the big move of the match, on the outside at least, was Laurel Van Ness hit her finisher, which is none prettier, onto the floor, almost, and gets a 9 count, 9 out of 10, on Ali. Eventually, the match goes back into the ring. Ali gets a little bit of fire. She manages to hit what does she call it? Ali Valley driver, which is basically a Death Valley driver. More or less an AA, but a little more compact. And then she hits a really beautiful super kick. And she wins over Laurel Van Ness. And that makes sense. I believe Laurel Van Ness had requested her release from Impact, even though she was already champion. It's kind of strange when the champion wants to leave. I don't know, I find that odd. So they cut to the back, and Aries is interviewed, and he does a promo. I wish I remembered the interviewer's name. I should learn it. Aries kind of struggles a little bit, which is rare for him. He's so good at promos, but he eventually finds himself and still delivers a really good promo where he's wearing like 5 titles on him or 4 titles on him, and he's just talking about being a champion and trying to take away the titles, and Johnny Impact isn't mean enough to do it. Then they cut to a Sami Callihan video package to preview the next match. So basically, Sami Callihan, if you don't know, you should look it up. Hit a guy hit Eddie Edwards in the face with a baseball bat, trying to do another spot in a very stupid way. Like, it's an exceptionally stupid botch, and you should see it. And that guy, I'd be afraid to be in the ring with him after that one. But the good thing he's been doing, he's been owning it. He basically said, I meant to do that. I'm a bad guy. I don't care about Eddie Edwards. He's doing a good job. So in this promo, he's basically just talking shit and saying, I don't care. OVE is actually facing Bobby Lashley. So Lashley was essentially teaming with Eddie Edwards last time when this happened. And now they were supposed to team up against OVE, but because Edwards is injured and out, Lashley has to go alone. OVE tries to attack Lashley outside of the ring. Lashley protects himself, actually kind of comes out on top, goes to get into the ring. Callahan hits him in the knee. I'm sure he's trying to hit him in the face, but he missed and he hit him in the knee. They saw the knee a little bit. Match keeps going. Lashley's getting beaten up pretty badly. Callahan's interfering a lot. And then Brian Cage shows up. So I think his name used to be, they call him Cage in Lucha Underground. Brian Cage, if you haven't seen him, is a beast. He's just jacked like crazy, probably. Well, let's be honest. He abuses steroids more than anybody else in the sport, probably. But he's in there with Lashley. It's not that far off. Those two guys, huge physiques. Brian Cage is really impressive, though. Everybody's impressive. But Brian Cage, at one point, is holding one of the members of OVE, and the other guy jumps on him, basically kind of crotch first. And Cage doesn't even move. He just kind of stands there, and the guy lands, and it's like he landed on a rock. Usually you'll see the person at least absorb a little bit of the impact. But Cage didn't move an inch, and then he basically kind of power slams the top guy and does a world's strongest slam to the other guy, and it looks great. It's just so impressive. And then Cage does this cool kind of throw a guy up into a tombstone move to one of them. It's an amazing move. He's just really impressive because he also does kind of small man stuff too. So he's very, despite being his jacked physique, he still moves well. Eventually, when Cage went to do that move, Lashley also stopped Callahan from hitting him with a bat. Lashley reached out a hand for a handshake. Cage just said, "Nah, I'm good," and walked out. So maybe there'll be a match between those two guys later on. If that's the case, that would be great, because gigantic muscle guy versus gigantic muscle guy is kind of what got me into wrestling. Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, maybe one of the most important matches of my life. So there you go. I like it. So then it goes into a promo for Johnny Impact before his match with Aries. A decent promo. Ends up he says like the reason Aries walks around with all those titles is because he's insecure. And Johnny Impact says, he may be pretty and things might come to him easy, but the one thing he is insecure. He doesn't need to carry around titles and stuff like that. It was fine. The match, lots of big moves, really big moves, and I love watching Aries in the ring. I don't know why. He's not the most athletic guy. He's not the strongest guy. He's not the est of anything, but he's really good. And Johnny Impact has some really interesting, innovative moves. At one point, Impact does this twisting kind of senton thing, and he, instead of landing on Aries' chest, he lands on his head. It looked a little painful, we'll say. Aries later on did a Death Valley driver onto the apron, which looked pretty good. They kind of exchange attempted big moves again, and at the very end, Aries hits his corner drop kick and then a brain buster, which is basically almost like a vertical suplex where the guy lands on his neck instead of his back. And Aries wins. Shows sportsmanship. He kind of helps Impact get up and raises his arm. And Alberto El Patron comes out smiling and laughing, and just kind of stands there. Aries yells at him, but nothing happens. That's basically the end. So they basically tease an El Patron Aries match, which is going to be fun. All right, that's about it. Pretty good episode overall. I definitely like this more than SmackDown this week, I can tell you that. I hope to get on these a little bit quicker. I know I'm actually recording this on the Sunday, so I apologize that it's a little bit late, but I will be trying to record these more regularly. Thanks.